All right, BPO owners, let's get right to it. If you're looking to stop burning cash on dead-end leads and actually start boosting your ROI, well, you're in exactly the right place. Consider this your new strategic playbook for buying high-performance leads, the kind that keep your agents busy and your pipeline full. So, let me just ask you this straight up. Are bad leads silently draining your budget? It's a massive pain point for so many BPOs, right? You're spending the money, your team is putting in the hours, but the results, they just aren't there. It really feels like you're pouring resources right down the drain.
Okay, I want to start with a number that's, well, it's pretty staggering. 72%.
So what does that 72% actually mean?
Well, according to Salesforce data, that's the percentage of B2B leads that never even get a follow-up call. And why? Because they're either totally irrelevant or completely unqualified. Now, this isn't just a sales problem, you know. It's a fundamental lead quality problem that starts way before an agent ever even picks up the phone.
This huge amount of waste is what I like to call the leaky pipeline problem. Honestly, it's the core reason why so many BPOs are just burning through cash on their lead buying efforts and have very little to show for it.
So, to fix this leaky pipeline, you've got to make a mental shift. Most BPOs are totally focused on cost per lead, or CPL. They think cheaper is always better. But here's the first pro tip from the playbook. The metric that truly matters for your bottom line is the cost per connect, CPC. How much are you paying for an actual conversation with a real potential customer? That, right there, is the game changer.
I just love this quote because it hits the nail on the head. Buying leads is similar to getting a tattoo. You get what you pay for. Chasing the absolute cheapest option is just a flawed strategy that almost always leads to, let's be honest, pretty poor and sometimes cringeworthy outcomes.
Okay, so we've put a name to the problem, the leaky pipeline. Now, let's get into how to diagnose your lead quality and, more importantly, how to spot the red flags that are causing it in the first place.
When you're looking at a lead vendor, you have got to keep an eye out for these warning signs. Are their sourcing methods kind of vague or, hidden? Are they promising you the moon with these unrealistically high numbers? Is there no clear process for how they actually qualify their leads? A lack of recent reviews or flat-out refusing to offer a small trial run are also major red flags. Trust your gut on this one. If it feels shady, it probably is.
And speaking of bad data from shady vendors, here's a number that really highlights just how fast things can go south. 30%.
Yep, that's the percentage of B2B lead data that goes completely stale in just 1 month. 1 single month. This makes data freshness absolutely critical. If your provider is selling you old, decayed data, your agents are just wasting their time calling people who've already changed jobs, moved, or are just no longer interested.
All right, enough about the problems. Let's pivot and get into the solution. This is the Smart Buyer's Playbook, a clear, actionable guide on how to choose a strategic partner, not just another vendor.
Here is a super simple 4-step framework for evaluating any lead vendor. First, capability. Do they have the right tech and industry expertise for you? Second, compatibility. Do their values and communication style actually vibe with yours? Third, commercials. Look beyond the price tag. What's the total cost of ownership? And finally, strategic fit. Does their growth plan align with where your BPO is trying to go? See, this isn't just about buying a list. It's about finding a real partner. Okay, now let's talk about lead types. On one hand, you have shared leads. Sure, they're cheaper, but you're immediately in a race against 5 to 7 other companies to be the first one to make contact, so conversion rates are naturally lower. Then on the other hand, you have exclusive leads. Yeah, they cost more, but they are yours and yours alone, and that leads to faster, more meaningful engagement and, you guessed it, much higher close rates. It's all about quality over quantity.
Building on our playbook, let's dive into your most valuable asset, your data. And treating it like a secret weapon means you've got to prioritize 2 critical things, compliance and hygiene.
Now, this is a term every single BPO owner needs to know inside and out, DNC scrubbing. It's the absolutely essential process of removing phone numbers from your lists that are on the National Do Not Call registry. Skipping this step isn't just bad practice. It can lead to some massive legal penalties.
Look, I really can't stress this enough. Compliance is not optional. As you can see, the rules can get pretty complex, but understanding consent, call time restrictions, and all the DNC regulations is absolutely crucial if you want to avoid huge legal and financial risks for your business. This is completely non-negotiable.
Okay, this brings us to the final and I think most important piece of the puzzle.
shifting your whole mindset from cost to investment and learning how to measure the true ROI of your lead spend.
So let's break down 2 common lead types. You've got your real-time leads. They're fresh, but man, are they expensive. It's a high-pressure situation and you're competing against the crowd. It's a classic high-risk, high-reward game. Then you have aged leads. These are incredibly affordable, they're scalable, and they are perfect for building consistent outreach. In this case, volume definitely beats velocity.
Now, let's look at how the math actually plays out. Here's a direct ROI comparison. So, for $1,000, you might get 40 real-time leads and maybe close 4 deals, which, hey, isn't bad. But for that exact same $1,000, you could get 4,000 aged leads. Now, even with a much lower close rate of 2%, you'd end up with 80 sales. 80, that is 20 times the sales volume. This shows you exactly how a blended strategy can seriously supercharge your growth.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. Here's a real-world testimonial from a sales rep. I got more deals from a $200 aged lead order than I ever did from $1,000 in live transfers. This is the kind of social proof that shows the data we just saw translates into actual real results on the ground.
I want to leave you with one last really powerful number that ties this all together. And it's a big one, 21 times.
So what's that mean? It means you are 21 times more likely to convert a lead if you respond within the first 5 minutes. Buying high-quality targeted data is the crucial first step. But having an efficient process to act on it instantly, that is your ultimate conversion multiplier.
So, as we wrap up, I want you to ask yourself this one question. Is your lead provider just a simple vendor who's selling you a list, or are they a true strategic partner who is actively fueling your BPO's growth? The answer to that question will define your success. So really think about that. Audit your current process and start making the shift from just buying leads to investing in true strategic partnerships. Thanks for tuning in.